Geared Up North, your compass in the wilderness. We're passionate outdoorsmen turned gear gurus on a mission to equip you with tools, insights, and camaraderie to conquer the great outdoors. From North America's hunting fields and icy waterways, join us for gear reviews, tips, and lessons learned. Welcome to Geared Up North.
Oh! Martin here with Geared Up North. We're doing another installment of the Rut Stationcation, a series on helping people get ready for the rut. On this episode, we're sitting down with Doug from Rackin Sticks. Doug, if you want to kind of give people a little bit of a history on how you got into the outdoors and how we met.
Yeah. So I got into the outdoors when I was a young lad. Got 12 years old, started hunting with my dad, that kind of thing. Hunted all through high school. Went to the military. Hooked up with some good friends who also hunted. Got bigger into it then. Took up archery a little stronger. Served 20 years in the military. Retired in 2004. Started my own business for a while there. And that's when I started really going out west hunting, doing a lot of elk hunting, mule deer hunting, that kind of thing. Still hunted whitetails back east. Went to different states, Ohio, Missouri. Trying to chase them big boys. Illinois, and now I'm working on the Rackin Stick products. Rackin Stick came about out of necessity. It was in 2011. Went out to Colorado, killed an elk, died in sagebrush, and that's how Rackin Stick was born.
What part of the military did you serve in?
I served in the Air Force.
Okay.
I was all over the world, stateside, Far East, Europe. Circled the world a couple times. Really enjoyed it. Do it all over again.
When you were traveling for quote unquote your job when you were in the Air Force, were you able to hunt when you were overseas or any of that, or was it kind of only when you were stateside?
Pretty much only when I was stateside. There was opportunities to hunt when I was in Japan, but I really didn't have the opportunity to do it. Too busy over there. And that was pretty much the only time in my life when I did not hunt, was when I was overseas. But getting back here stateside, I lived in Maryland, stationed at Andrews for 10 years, and Maryland is a hidden gem for whitetails, and we got into it hard and heavy.
Cool. We'll definitely have to circle back on that. So you were talking about when you were going out east that the product that you were describing, the Rackin Stick, how did that come to mind? Was it just kind of something you ran into when you were like elk hunting or mule deer hunting, or how did that idea to make it a product come to life?
Out of necessity. The first elk ever killed died right on the edge of the buckbrush and sagebrush. There was nothing to tie a hind quarter off to skin and quarter. And I talked to a buddy of mine who was out there with me from Nevada, and it was hot. It was second season, flies everywhere. And I told him, I said, how do you do this without getting a lot of waste and getting all the meat out timely? He said, you got to be Johnny on the spot, and you're going to end up losing some because it's just so dang warm. And doing it as one man, it's rough. So I had a 27-hour drive back to Pennsylvania with my dad, and it started just spinning in my head. What can I do so I can actually go out on a DIY hunt and do this all on my own? And went to Lowe's, went to Home Depot, started piecemealing stuff together, trying to get things put together. Ran into the company who does my manufacturing now in New Jersey. Contacted them. That was going on 16 years. No, I guess that's 14 years ago now. And hooked up with them, and they made my original prototypes for me. I got 10 of them made, handed out to friends, used them myself, and that's how it was born. And just I told myself I wasn't going to go any further until I actually killed an elk and used it for gutting and skinning. But in the meantime, I realized that it also works as a dang good field dressing tool back east here for whitetails. It's also a dang good shooting rest. So basically, what everything happened was one thing happened after another, and it evolved. In fact, this is my original. This old girl still works. Ain't the prettiest thing. It's not the quietest thing, but it still works for gutting deer. This is what I shot my elk off of. I don't know if you can see it. It's right back here. Shot the elk off of this at over 300 yards, and I skinned and quartered with this old girl right here. So everything's evolved from there. So basically, just out of necessity, Martin.
So any of the viewers that are just listening to the podcast, can you describe the problem that solved, just for like because some of the listeners aren't that in depth in the hunting thing. Could you kind of break it down for somebody who's never hunted before to describe how that product was useful for you?
Yes. So what it is, for a whitetail, I'll start with whitetail deer. If you're gutting a whitetail deer, it's always a challenge holding the legs unless you have somebody with you. You're always dancing around them, trying to keep them in place, trying to gut the deer at the same time. It's a real pain in the butt. My product solves two problems. It's an extra set of hands, and it's a lot easier, a lot quicker, a lot cleaner, and that's basically what it solves for the whitetail. For a elk or a moose, in fact, I just had a guy send me a picture. He killed a Yukon moose. He bought a product from me up in Potter County here in Pennsylvania. He was going on his first ever moose hunt up to Alaska, and he killed a moose. And he used my XL to skin and quarter his moose. So what it does, the hindquarters of the elk or a moose, or even a mule deer, 300-pound mule deer, they're heavy. And if you want to gut it out, even if you want to just quarter it out, what it does, it keeps everything apart for you. So, and the spring tension keeps it in place. So it makes it a lot easier, a lot quicker, a lot cleaner, because when you're out west, you're Johnny on the spot. You got to get stuff cleaned up because 90% of the time it's getting dark, and you got to get that animal quartered, hauled out, back to your camp. It's basically having a friend with you all the time that's going to help do what you can't do with just two hands.
Got it. So to go a little bit further, just so for people that aren't understanding what you're kind of describing, with that system is it's a bar that you're then putting above the knee or below the knee on the rear legs of either the whitetail, the mule deer, the moose, whatever that might be. And that's just helping keeping the legs open as you're processing the animal, correct?
Correct.
And then from there, mainly focusing on the whitetail, because that's kind of what my own curiosity with the product. Are you then able to hang the animal from that then?
Yeah, you can drag it out with it. I have dragging straps you can attach. Like for instance, this right here. This is a Rackin XL with the gutting ends on it. Okay, they're powder coated, made to get bloody and nasty. That's why all my products are made out of aluminum tubing, because if they get blood on them, get gut material, whatever, wash them off, wipe them down, you're ready to go. These ends here are powder coated. That way, if they get nasty, also wash them off, you're ready to go. I have a dragging strap that'll attach to this product right here. All it is, brass grommet here, brass grommet here. The strap attaches, screw these back in. What you're going to do is run the back legs up over the tube, so you're going to drag the deer out on his back, keeping the body cavity cleaner. A lot easier to drag as well, because you're dragging the heaviest part of the animal first. So if you go across a log or something like that, and you have a deer dragging it by the head, the rear end does this. It swings around on you, try to get it across there. With this product here, you can lift the whole animal up by the back legs with this installed, drag it over the log, and then keep on trucking with your drag. Also, when you get back to your camp anyhow, or back to your house, whatever you're doing, you're tired from dragging. So the body cavity stays a lot cleaner, keeps most of the debris out, because everything's tight, everything's closed up. That when you get back home, you have less work to do. skin it out, do what you got to do. You mentioned about hanging as well. If you don't have one, or if you need an extra one, the Rackin XL also turns in to a gambrel setup. So you can hang your deer, skin it out. You can leave it hang on here, do your quartering as well. It's one tool with so many uses, it's not even funny. For instance, right here, that little bag right there is your gambrel setup. It's Amstel dog leg with 3 carabiners and 2 eyelets that screw in the end. And if you're out west hunting, you can also use this to hang your meat up with. So once you got your animal skinned and or quartered up and hauled back to camp, you can never find a clean place out there because it's always dusty and nasty to lay the animal down, bone the meat, to get the meat off the bone. With this product here, with my Rackin XL, you can hang one hind quarter here, one hind quarter here. You can bone it out, take all the meat off, bag it up like you need to. If this side gets light, all right, all it does, it shifts over and everything stays in place. That way nothing launches onto the ground. A lot quicker, a lot cleaner, a lot easier.
So kind of, let's just do a brief overview of all the different products that you have and kind of how they fit the whitetail space for somebody that's getting prepped for the rut.
Okay. So what we have, we'll start out with the Rackin XL. There's a lot of guys out there that crossbow hunt because they have to or because they want to. Okay. The Rackin XL, right here, comes just like this here. Has a shooting rest. Rubber bumper on the end. I don't know if I said it before, but all these ends interchange. They're all 1/4 20 thread. So if you're a crossbow hunter, I'm not sure. I know Kentucky and certain states like that come in during the rut. So I'll show you with a gun. I'll show you with a crossbow as well. So I got 2 options for the crossbow. Back up a little bit. So all it is, this will sit right here in your hip, right below your belt. All you do is you drop the stick, right here, right behind the strap lug on your crossbow. Now, most crossbows are so daggone small nowadays that just like this, okay, you're so tight, you're so compacted. With this here, you can actually stretch out, hold the stick in the sling, a lot more comfortable, a lot more sturdy. That's for crossbow with the XL. I have another option for y'all. This is one of my newer attachments. This guy right here, that's a sidekick. What it does, it attaches your pick rail on your crossbow. The only bad thing about it is you got to take your quiver off though in your pack. But most guys don't have their quiver on a crossbow anyhow. So how this works like a forehand on your crossbow. And it stays connected even if you don't need to deploy it. I have a stow clamp right here, right on the pistol grip of the crossbow. So it stays connected. So if an animal 20 yards, you don't need it, boom, you got your shot right here. And that will actually help with drive it into your shoulder as well. If you have an animal that's out, good piece. All you got to do is deploy it, very quiet. You still have your foregrip, plus you have your rest that's going to sit right here in your hip, just like that.
So for any of the people that are just listening to the audio version of this, could you kind of describe the product if they're not able to see the video portion of it? Like, because I can see it and I understand what it's doing, but could you get more depth behind what it is and where it's mounted and how it functions?
Yes, indeed. So the sidekick attachment attaches right to the top of the XL. It's also 1/4 20 thread, screws right into it. It'll attach to your pick rail, and what it is, it's 3D printed TPU that kicks out. Good reference would be if you're familiar with the World War II zip guns that had the magazine that would come out 90 degrees away from the weapon. That's basically how this works works. Instead of having a vertical foregrip, this would be considered a horizontal foregrip, and it keeps your hand below the crossbow, so it's out of the way. You're not going to get. It's actually safer than trying to hold the bottom, because you can always, if you got your fingers up in there, no bueno. This keeps your hand out of the way of the entire unit.
And then is that interchangeable? So if somebody's shooting left-handed, right-handed, you can just flip the orientation on how that's mounted on the pick rail on the bottom side?
Correct. All you do is you take it from the right side. If you're left-handed, take it to, or if you're right-handed, it'll be on the left side. If you're left-handed, it'll be on the right side. All you do is you flip it over and you spin the stick, and you're back, and you're shooting left-handed. Has a pivot right here. Has a pivot point right here off of the foregrip, and that's what, just flip it to the other side and you're good.
Got it. And then what are the, so that's two products. Is there anything else that because I know you've got a few different, you probably have more than 5 or 6 in total, correct? Or is it mainly like the two or three big items, and then it's just the different attachments for each?
It basically it's the two items. It's the XL and the SS. I'll stick with the XL real quick. We'll go over some more attachments. I already went over the gambrel setup. I already went over the gutting setup with these ends right here. If there are rifle hunters out there, we have a couple options for rifle hunting as well. You can also use your rifle the exact same way. All you do is you put that shooting U up underneath the front sling mount, gives you a solid rest. We have a second option. We have a straight Picatinny rail mount that connects right to the XL. In fact, I was out this weekend shooting, and I'm going to put the video up. We only got one part of it. I was busting steel, a 6x6 piece of steel at 300 yards with this setup right here.
Which gun were you using when you were shooting? Say
again?
Which gun were you using when you were shooting at 300?
It was my 6.5 Creedmoor.
Okay.
Yep. So this sits right here like this. All it does is mounts right here to your pick rail, can stay attached. If you're sitting in a blind, you can have it sit like this all day. If you need to bring it up and shoot, all you do, bring it up, and you're ready to go. If you're a pistol hunter, we also have attachments for you. I have my little prop gun here. So this is a pistol loop right here. Attaches right to the revolver rig, which is this right here. All you do is you run the bolt through the brass grommet, attaches right to it. Very simple. You take a full grip on your pistol, hook your finger into there, pinky finger, that drops right in, locks it right in place. You can either hold the stick itself in the pistol or take a full grip on the pistol. So you have tons of hunting options with this product. If you have a trigger on your hunting weapon, I got a rest for you. Even right down to a vertical crossbow. As far as you mean to go over the SS, Martin?
Yeah, let's go over that, and then we can kind of go through different scenarios for each, especially with the SS, because that just seems a lot more versatile for the mobile hunter.
Correct. So the SS, this is the Rackin SS. All my products are 100% American made. Okay, right down to the TPU rope ends that are attached to it. The Rackin SS is a bridge spreader, plain and simple. Spring tension, like the XL. Okay, so how this works, I actually brought my saddle out. basically how this works, there's your bridge. I have tons of videos out now with this. The XL rides right here in your bridge. You can put it above your knots. You can put it below your knots. You can even put it down here on your loops if you'd like. So when you move, this is going to contract and expand with you as you go. You can twist. You can do whatever you need to do in the saddle. And I will guarantee you, and I'm going to put a video about this, if you have hip pinch in the saddle, I'm going to give you a money-back guarantee that that's going to be comfortable. Hunt with it a couple times. If you don't like it, if it doesn't do what you want it to do, I'll give you your money back. It's that plain and simple. That's how positive I am this product does what it's supposed to do.
Can you, for people that aren't able to watch, can you describe what the product is, where it gets placed on the saddle, how it functions?
Sure. So it's basically expandable tubing. It'll extend out to 19 inches, retracts down to 13 inches with a spring shock absorber, if you will, in between. The ends are TPU printed 3D printed TPU. They actually have a little bit of carbon fiber in them. These little guys have been froze test down to -5 for 3 days. It comes with a ladder strap that connects everything. So all it is, these will work on a strap. I've used them on a 1-inch strap. I've used them on am steel, rope, you name it. It'll slide in. All you do is you take one side, push it into your rope, into your bridge, wherever you want to put it. On both sides, take the ladder strap, connect around, lock it in place, and you're ready to roll. If you're a big fella, you can expand this out, lock it in place, and it'll still keep everything apart. I've got a guy who just sent me an email out of Georgia. Broke his pelvis, and he couldn't saddle hunt anymore because it was too painful. He bought my SS, and now he's sitting just as comfortable he can be. I ran into a guy out in Ohio who has back issues, and I didn't know the SS would relieve back issues. I thought it would just take care of the pressure on your side. He said he was out glassing for 6 hours, felt like he was sitting in a hammock. That's how comfortable he said this thing was.
What other end attachments do you have for the SS?
As far as the SS goes, you can attach anything you want to the SS. All these ends are all 1/4 threads. You can put a shooting rest attachment on if you want to turkey hunt. It's a little short, to be honest with you, for hunting out of the saddle. What it does do, it gives you an extra point of contact on your bridge. So as you're hunting, this is going to be sitting in your bridge. You can lay your forehand up on here, and you can rest your gun and get the full grip on your rifle, as well as your rifle and your bridge rope, and that's going to give you an extra point of contact to give you a more steady shot. The SS right now is pretty much just for saddle hunting. You can also use this for gutting your deer, though. These rope ends can pop right into the Achilles tendon on the back leg of a deer. This will work exactly the same way as the XL will for gutting or quartering. What it does is the spring pressure is going to hold it apart. That way, you're not wrestling with the legs. It's a lot quicker, a lot easier job. You can also use this for dragging. You can attach a dragging strap to each end, run the deer's back legs up over the tube, screw this back in. You can drag it out the same way as you would with a XL. It's just going to be a little more compact, but it works the same. We've stress tested these things down at a butcher shop. We hung a 375-pound hog off one of these with a gamble rig, 0 issue. The aluminum tubing is super strong. I've ran them over with my tractor, my 4-wheeler, tried to break them, and they just won't break.
So to go, just to kind of highlight everything again for products that you have, you've got the XL, you got the SS, and
Correct.
then what are the different end attachments?
Okay. So the different end attachments are for the XL, which are primarily, you have your gutting quartering use, which are powder coated, pair of them. They come in a set when you buy them online, and that's for your gutting and quartering, that kind of thing. For the pistol hunter, which we already went over, you have your revolver rig, also have your pistol loop as well. This also works darn nice for a hand. If you want to use this for a walking stick, works great for a hand loop as well. Revolver rig, pistol loop. You can also use the pistol loop setup on this shooting U as well. If you ever have a contender or one of those new Rossi pistols or whatever like that you want to hunt with. It'll work exactly the same. Take your full grip. All you do is put your little finger right through the loop, lay it down on, and you're ready to shoot. We have grips. Oop, that's not a grip. We have grips that mount right on to the end of your XL and SS. All it is, unscrew it, slide the grip over top, screw it back into whatever attachment you have. Works great as using it for walking stick, for spot and stalk, that kind of thing. I also make one for the SS for when it's hot or it's cold. That way it gives you a little extra grip to slide it into place, so it's not quite as slippery. For hunting out of a tree stand, for mobile hunting out of a tree stand, this is our stand clamp. This little guy does a whole lot. So all it is, if you're hunting out of a tree stand, then have this adjusted to where you want it to be. You'd mark it with a silver Sharpie, extend it out at the house, lay it out, get your rifle as parallel as you can to the ground, mark it with a silver Sharpie right here. Each weapon is going to be different, so you have a crossbow and a rifle and a shotgun, that kind of thing. Make a mark for each one of those. So if you're hunting out of a tree stand, have it adjusted, and that stand clamp will keep it locked right in place. If you're ready to use it, pop it out. She's still not going to come out. Throw it on your hip. You're ready to shoot. For packing in, it's our pack clamp. It's got a reverse J on it. Hook it to any molly loop, whatever you have. Keeps the pressure on this side, which keeps it from popping out. Attaches the exact same way. Hooks right to it. Has a double lug system. Has a smaller lock right here. And has a larger lug, just like the stand clamp does. We have, what else we got going on here? Oh, here we go. For gutting your deer. If you want to gut your deer, well, if you're gutting your deer at night, which a lot of us have to, all you do is you attach your stand clamp right to your stick. That's going to be in the back legs of the deer. You take a flashlight, jam it in there, tighten down the ladder strap. The ladder strap just attaches right to itself. Hold it right in place. That way you have your hand lamp, plus you have the entire animal lit up as well. That'll attach to the XL or the SS to do the same thing.
Perfect. So let's transition. So obviously you're talking about how to use these within like a hang-on stand or off of a saddle. What are some of your go-to mobile hunting products that you like to use?
I just got into the saddle hunting gig last year. That's what I like to use. Most of the time I'm hunting private land. So I'm using my ladder stands and things like that. But when I go out to Ohio, I'm either using the saddle or I'm also using a climber, or if it's just uh, spot and stalk and sit, I'm just a kind of a turkey seat kind of guy, easing around out there during gun season.
Are you doing the same spot and stalk stuff for bow season, or during bow is that more of the climber or your preset stands?
Yeah, during bow season, it's mostly climber or preset stands, and also with the saddle as well, going in some new property. Where I don't have everything set up. That way it's just easier to get in there, get set up, get off the ground a little bit, and see what happens. I got some orchards I can hunt now, so that makes it nice.
Aside from the mobile hunting, what are some of your favorite pieces of gear from hunting, for like a hunting perspective, for somebody that's getting ready for the rut?
So my favorite pieces of gear, I'll tell you what, I'm very minimalistic when it comes to it. I don't like carrying a whole bunch of crap. When I was younger, I had a backpack. I bet that thing weighed 30 pounds. Nowadays, I'm very simple. I'm going to give a shout out. Basically, when I go hunting, that's what I carry right there. It's just a twisted iron boot bandolier. I throw that over my shoulder. I can get everything into this thing. If I'm out for half a day, I take it. If I'm out for a full day, I just take a small backpack. Very minimalistic. What I'll do is I'll throw all my products in for my Rackin XL and things like that. I'll throw it right into a molly pouch. Have it in there with a magnet. That way I have everything ready to go. I'll connect that to my backpack or my BB Pro. Take it out with me. Have my stick attached. That way, if I need it, it's there. I'll leave it at the bottom of the tree. If I kill a deer, perfect. I have all my pieces I need. If not, I put it back on my pack. Because you figure the XL itself weighs 0.73 pounds. The SS weighs 6 ounces. So you're not lugging in any more weight than a bottle of water, to be honest with you. Because a 60-ounce bottle of water weighs about 2 pounds. So you're just basically carrying another bottle of water in with you when you're carrying my products. I'm very minimalistic when I go out hunting. Now, when I go out west, it's a little different story because you got to be able to survive if you get lost.
Yeah, no, I get that, but the main focus of this series is rut-related information. So when you're doing like an all-day sit, what are some of the must-have items? Obviously, you're a minimalist, and I'm kind of the similar boat. What are your go-to things that you are actually carrying in your pack?
I'm carrying set of rattling horns. I'll carry some rut spray, stuff like that, some dope pee, cell phone. I don't care. I'll be honest with you, Martin. I don't carry much at all, brother. I carry my knife, and I'm ready to roll. There's not too many other products that I carry with me.
Yeah, I'm not that far off. For me, that the Mystery Ranch 18 pop-up is probably what I'll use for the rut this year. And the only excuse me, the only reason I'm going to run that is because it gives me the ability to put my extra base layers between the pack, like between the frame and the pouch part.
Yeah.
Beyond that, I'm carrying probably, well, right here, I'm taking 1.5 liters of water with me.
Yep.
And then I'm taking a Grail water filter system. So if I, like, say, for example, I decide to move stands or I'm moving wherever I need to go, I'll have this with the Grail in the pack, probably a handful of snacks.
Yep.
Just to make sure to kind of keep the blood sugar up throughout the day. And then that's pretty much it. I mean, and I don't carry rattling antlers. I'll carry 2 or 3 different grunt tubes, just based off of scenarios that I see, or like depending on how far they are away, or if I want to have a more aggressive call, or if I want to have, because for me, I'll literally have it no different than like a golfer is picking a different club. So I might grab this grunt tube. Okay, cool. I can see that that deer's walking away. So I might grab the one that's got a little bit more depth or volume or sounds more mature. Or if I'm just blind calling, I'm probably going to grab the one that's preset as like an immature buck
Mm-hmm.
to just kind of like act like I'm the teenager who knows what he's talking about, knows what he's doing. Or the Dobley one, the one that I'm ordering from Hattie Bow, the Hattie Doe. I haven't tried that one yet, but I'm excited to try that because then it's no different than being Zelda with the flute, being able to switch back and forth between different notes and different tones and being able to deliver more of a true experience for the whitetail to come by and say hi.
There you go. There you go. Yeah, over the years, I got pretty good. I forget what it's called, but it's the one that where you press the different levels on the grunt tube.
The extinguisher.
I don't know what that is. I put it this way. It's been in my pack for so long that all the words wore off of it. So I have no idea what it is, but it's one of them things that it always goes in the pack, and I've got good enough with it for the doe bleats and the fawn calls and all that kind of stuff. Like you talk about playing it's just like playing a flute or something like that, man. I know where to put my fingers to make the sound I need to make.
Oh, I know exactly what you're talking about. I don't remember what the name of it is though, because you've got like, I'll say like, we'll just say for numbers, 2 inches from top to bottom, and depending on where you put your fingers
Yes,
on that gap or space is where it's adding pressure to the reed.
true talker.
Yes, that's what
Yep,
it is.
yep. Yeah, that old girl's been in there for years, man. Still works.
So now we can kind of continue on the rut thing. Do you have any? Obviously, you're more of a minimalist, so you're not carrying a bunch of stuff with you aside from your little like Indiana Jones satchel for a half day hunt. So are you? What's your like go to? Are you mainly just like going off of sign? Are you setting up based off of terrain and historical data? What's your kind of thought process behind the rut?
I'm terrain, and I'm also sign. Uh, yeah, that's basically what I got going on. See what the game cam's got going on. If I'm hunting newer property, I'll do a little scouting prior, and then head on out there. And I'm pretty good with the terrain, with the pinch points, all that kind of thing. The way that goes, looking for the feed, looking for that kind of thing. That's my big go-to. If I find feed, I'll find deer.
So when you're talking pinch points, could you go a little bit more depth on what those are? What your favorite ones are for your own style of hunting?
Oh yeah. I'm a big. I don't know if you call it too much of a pinch point. I'm a big not saddle hunting, but when you find like saddles and things like that, pinch points on side of ridges and stuff that come up, they give because deer are inherently lazy. That's their game. They're not going to put out any more energy than they have to. And if I find spots where they can get up into a spot where they need to be for bedding or like into a bedding area where the feed's out in front, I'll hunt those. I'll hunt those in a heartbeat because I'm sure you know as well as I do, Martin. If a deer can find an easy way through something, they're going to make it. They're not going to try and climb the steepest ridge or anything like that. They're going to find the way they're going to use the least amount of energy to get to where they need to be.
Yeah, the way that I look at it is no different than like an older guy or somebody that's just a little. They're like to your point. They're just using their energy wisely. They're not going out of their way to go up and around. No different than either like me or you. Like say for example, if we're going scouting, there's no way that we're just going to go straight up the mountain. We're probably going to go zigzag back and forth and try and find sign along the way up instead
Yep,
of literally just doing a cannonball run straight up the hill.
correct.
Now, could we do that? Yeah, we could, but you might need that Rackin XL stick to drag my fat butt up that hill. So to continue on the rut portion, so you're mainly pinch points, stuff like that. What's your main go-to when it's feed sign? Is that oaks? Is that browse? Is that something other than that, like persimmons or beech nuts? Because I know you're in PA, which is a pretty big food source there too.
Yeah, if I can find a beech nut tree, I've killed a lot of deer that their breath is minty fresh from eating beech nuts. And if I can find a beech nut tree that's dropping, I'm on that thing all day. I'm primarily white oaks, chestnut oaks, that kind of thing. If I can find those big rascals laying around, that's where they're going to be. Don't have too many persimmons. I kind of cheat when I hunt the orchards because there's apples everywhere, so that's pretty easy. Come later if we don't find any like acorns and things like that, then I'm all about. I know deer even in the wintertime. If they find honeysuckle, they will go to that honeysuckle and eat that honeysuckle in a heartbeat because that's pretty good. That's pretty high in protein for them as well.
Okay. So let's go through a few scenarios and then you can kind of pick or choose what you would prefer. So if you're, say, for example, you're going, we'll say October 25th through the 29th, are you going to want to try and hunt off of a rub, a scrape, or are you going to more sit in that pinch point and just kind of wait for somebody to start moving?
I'm going to hunt where the does are. If I know where the does are coming in, where the does are feeding, that's where I'm going to hunt. I haven't hunting scrapes and things like that. I mean, they pay off sometimes, but if you can find the hot does or find out where the does are congregating at in that area, I hunt that every time because that's where the bucks are going to end up being. It's just plain and simple. Rubs, as far as that goes, I'm not a big rub hunting fan. If it's a fresh scrape, I'll hunt it, but I'll figure out where all the feed is and I'll hunt the does. An old man told me that years ago. He said, if you want to kill big bucks, you hunt does.
So for that, then, are you mainly looking for just feed sign from the does, or are you just going off of historical data to kind of just say, hey, this is a good spot based off of trail cam data from the last X amount of years, or are you just kind of going in blind and winging it?
I'm kind of going in blind and winging it. Well, if I hunt my normal areas, then I know where to go. I go off historical data like you talked about. But if I'm rolling into a new area and I find a stand of oaks and I see if I see acorns on the ground, I know there's going to be doe coming in there, and I know there might be a buck coming in nibbling. So I just go to the feed, and if it's hot and dry, like here in Pennsylvania, like it is now, if I got a little bit of a water source and I got oaks around it, I'm all over it.
So you're pretty much going off that same tactic. So if, no matter what time, so if it's October 25th through November 15th, you're pretty much always going to be based off of does and feed in relation to where doe bedding is, correct?
Correct. Yep. Because if you're like perfect example there, Martin. I mean, if you find a doe's bedding area, the bucks are going to be going in and out of there all the time, brother. They're going to be trying to check them out because I know where my does are going to bed, and if I go to a new area, I can kind of figure out where the thickest, nastiest crap's going to be and where the does are going to bed into. And if I find the good feed source outside of that, and usually it comes out to my advantage.
Okay. So mainly with that, you're going in blind and you're just kind of you're going in blind, you're trying to find the feed and then the doe bedding, and then you're mainly just going off of downwind of that, or are you trying to use a terrain feature in kind of like no different than a large math equation to kind of be the multiplier?
Yeah, I'll use it, around here. It's pretty daggone hilly, and if I can find a good spot, a good draw that goes into it, they're going to come out of there. If I find out where the feed points are, or find some game trails coming in and out of the bedding area, that's what I'm going to hunt off of. Like if I go into an area, guy says, "Hey, you can hunt this," I'll go in and I'll find a good game trail. I'll figure out on my X app where the oaks are, where the thickets are, that kind of thing, and then go from there.
Okay. So really, you don't have like certain people have, they prefer to be pre-rut, rut. You don't really have say for example, between October 15th and we'll say October 25th and we'll say November 15th. Do you have a desired day or 2 day or 3 day period in that window that you would prefer to hunt? So say for example, if you had to place your bet that you would kill a Pope and Young or bigger, what would be your 3 day window you would pick?
I'll be honest. I'd pick the 3 days right around Halloween.
So
I
you do the 29th, you do like the 30th, the 31st, and the 1st.
correct. Yep. Yeah.
Why is that?
What's that?
Why?
Why? Because I've killed 90% of the buckets hanging in my basement during that time. From October 4th, let's see here, from the 29th to the 4th of October. That's when I've killed 90% of the bucket. And they're still in pre-rut and they're still chasing or chasing hard. If I can get on November 4th, I'm going to say 8 out of the 13 I have hanging here on the wall. That's when I've killed them on October 4th. Don't know why. And that's Pennsylvania, Illinois, Missouri.
Okay. So if you had to pick, it'd be the 3 days after Halloween.
Correct.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah, the wife knows when that week hits, I'm not going to be home much.
Yeah, I don't blame you. I'm the same way. I don't have a wife, but it's pretty much I tell all my clients and even my assistant I have, I'm like, this date, October 24th through November 9th or 10th, you will not find me. I will not answer anything. If you want to shoot me an email, you're going to get a polite response.
Correct.
But it's just like no different than anybody else that's got the same passion you and I or any of our followers or listeners do. It's just the fact that like you put in so much time and effort, no different than you when you were in the military or me when I was playing football overseas. You put so much time and effort into I wouldn't even call it a hobby. I call it a craft.
Correct.
Because as a woodsman, there's like certain skills you can pick up or miss. Because even for me, there's certain things that I've only been doing bow hunting for just short of 10 years now. And it's just amazing the amount of knowledge that you can learn from somebody that's been doing it for 50 years or somebody that's been doing it for 5 years. It's crazy just to see how somebody's perspective from a completely different angle might be the one or two things you're missing to kind of build that last puzzle piece you need.
And that's one thing. I'm almost 60 years old, brother, and I'm still learning about deer hunting. And I'll be the first one to admit it. If someone says something, hey, I'll take it. I'll think about it. If it works for me, great. I mean, you never stop learning, no matter what you're doing.
Yeah, 100%. So kind of going off that, and we could probably wrap up with this, or we can talk about this a little bit and then just cover one more topic. For what, obviously you said you're 60. What would be some of the tips you would go back and tell yourself when you started hunting when you were younger to reduce that learning curve?
Listen to the old guys. That's what I would say. There's a lot. I've learned a lot over the years as far as whitetail hunting goes. Just from talking to people. Listen more. That's basically it. Don't go with the latest fad. Stay with what's tried and true. You don't have to buy the latest and greatest every year because what you have works. I mean, there's no reason to go out and buy a new bow every 2 to 3 years if you don't need one. If you like what you got and it feels like it's a part of you when you're shooting it, stick with it. Like I'm shooting the same Hoyt I bought 8 years ago, and it's just like my favorite rifle. I pick it up, it's perfect in my hand, and I'm ready to roll.
So to kind of go a little bit deeper on that, I know earlier you were saying about like hunting downwind or like hunting within correlation to doe bedding for the rut. Any other like tactic based tips?
That's a good question. I mean, I'll be honest with you. As far as tactics go, I'm not a real tactician. I don't. When it comes to that kind of stuff, as long as I have.
My point is, I know that you're not really a tactician, but what would be like, say for example, if you could go back to when you first got into bow hunting, what would be some tips, not gear related, just tactic related, that you would tell yourself to start with to reduce that learning curve?
Oh, you don't have to go that deep. That's one thing I will say. You don't have to go that deep in the woods. Find out what you got close by. That's one thing I have learned over the years, that the deer are going to be close to field edges. The deer are going to be closer to water sources that are nearby. I mean, I've hiked back in 5, 6, 7 miles and not seen a daggone thing. And then the guys that I'm hunting with, they'll hunt, 500 to 1,000 yards off the road, and they're killing deer. It's deer hunting is like a chess match, bro. I mean, you either win or you lose. That's basically it. I mean, all the scent sprays, all that kind of good stuff that they put out now, all the different lures and that kind of crap. It's all good. It's all well and good. But if you don't have the perfect scenario set up, you're not gonna be successful.
Yeah, I would agree. I think for myself, the couple that I could think of just off the top of my head from after asking you the question, I think one, I would start with learn terrain more than anything, because the sooner that you understand terrain and how deer use it, you're going to save 4 to 5 years of just obviously that your biggest educator is being in the field and being on stand or scouting or whatever that might be. But if you can understand terrain features and certain features they like more than others, especially based off of where you are location wise. So for like you being in PA and me being in northern Wisconsin, there's certain terrain features that are going to be way better than others just because of the hills or the big woods that we hunt in. But if I'm in marsh country, that's going to be a completely different type of terrain feature. So focusing on whatever type of terrain you're hunting in and then using those terrain features as your focal point to start scouting and kind of build that as you could call that your first base.
Mm-hmm.
If we're going to use like a baseball reference, that could be your first base. That's a way to at least get on base. Now let's try and steal some more bases and get home.
Correct. And I will tell you one thing. One thing that has been, because we used to buy and we used to get the old topo maps, the big gigantic topo maps, and go off those rascals. I will say one thing about new technology, those new apps with the X app, X Hunt, on X Hunt, love them, man. Once you learn to use those things, you can save a lot of boot leather getting to where you're going and figure out what you got going on.
Yeah, 100%. To me, I agree. Those are probably the biggest adversary for anybody. But I will say that isn't your end all be all. From my own perspective, I think everybody should be carrying a compass in the woods, even if their phone has got full reception. To me, where we go up in northern Wisconsin, if anybody comes up by our camp, it's mandatory that you bring a compass. If you forgot one at home, we've got a whole box of about 10 of them.
100%,
Because we haven't had any issues yet, but we have public that's adjacent to the land that we own. And if you go one direction or two directions in the wrong way, you're 5 miles before you hit a logging road.
Yes. Yep. I used to hunt down on the eastern shore of Maryland, which is flat. When we talk about hunting a ridge, we talk about hunting like a 3-foot ridge up out of the swamp. And if you didn't have a compass, and it was real easy to get lost back in there, especially if the fog set in over those swamps, yeah, that was kind of rough. And we have had guys get lost back in there. And unless you have a compass, you have no idea where you're at. Here's a perfect scenario for you. You're talking about a fully charged phone and a GPS and that kind of thing. When I go out west, I was out west 4 years ago, and I had my phone with the X app. I also had my Garmin GPS. Well, I got halfway out across this ridge. I was putting on a walk about 2.5, 3 miles. I got out there. I got about 1,000 yards. My phone died. So I didn't have that. So I'm like, all right, I got my GPS. Pulled my GPS out. GPS died. So I had nothing but a compass to get to where I needed to go. And I was already hiking through these ravines. If it wouldn't have been for the compass and the sun, I'd have been lost, brother. I'd have been lost.
Yeah. Same. And even for me, when I'm going up by my property, most of the time my phone stays in the pocket until I'm going to till I get to where I'm going. Even if I don't know where I'm going, most of the time I just try and use the compass as kind of the primary. The phone is just the secondary to make sure that I'm going in the right direction.
Correct. I mean, even though I'm hunting around here in areas that I know, the compass is always in my bag. It don't matter where I'm at.
Yeah, same. And even for me, what I like to do too, especially during the rut, because if I'm not getting a lot of activity, what I've done before too is, say for example, we'll use your dead, or we'll say that we're downwind of a doe bedding area, but I know for sure that the wind is probably going to switch, or we might get an off wind the next day. That's not the predominant wind.
Mm-hmm.
I'll actually pull out the compass and put it in my right or left hand, and then I'll just kind of shift around and try and see where there'd be another tree that I could then use with my binoculars to try and look, okay, cool. This is probably going to be off wind of this scrape or off wind of this primary trail in a travel corridor. And then I can look and be able, okay, cool. Well, that tree, so I'll triangulate. I'll take my rangefinder, I'll figure out where the scrape is. Cool, that's X amount of yards. And then I'll do the same to where I think that tree is that I want to set up. And then from there, that gives me at least a rough guess of what I think that yardage is, being able to do math and figure out what that third angle is to say, okay, well, this area would be a great spot to set up tomorrow based off the wind. So then when I come back the next day, or what I've done before too, is I'll pre-hang everything there. So all I need to do is just show up the next morning and everything's in the tree ready to go, aside from my bow. I always bring my bow with me. I don't leave it in the tree overnight.
Yeah, exactly. That's a smart move, brother. I like that.
But that's the thing, because you got to think a little bit. To me, it's more of that forward thinking. It's the way that you're able to maximize efficiency with time on stand while still using common sense.
100%. 100%. So you taught an old dog new tricks, brother.
Always. But to me, it's just thinking. It's that off the wall thinking. Well, speaking of the old dog new tricks, one trick that we do, and we've said it on the podcast a few other times. Say, for example, this is one of those reflective gear tacks.
Mm-hmm.
Here's your tree. We'll put this in there, but then we'll put like an inch or 2 inches of that orange tape for marking for like your logging trails.
Yeah.
We'll use that for the height of the platform or the hang-on. So say, for example, we'll just use this for reference.
Mm-hmm.
This is like that in the middle of the palm is where that marker is. So then what you'll be able to do when you set your stand, you know exactly where your shooting lanes are cut for that stand.
Oh,
so even
wow.
if you're bringing in your own setup, which is what we do, we pre-cut, we don't preset. So everybody brings their own mobile setup.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have a ton of trees prepped, but there's probably 4 or 5 that are already cut with shooting lanes and everything that are just literally, you get these 3 wins, this is one of the stands you can hunt. You get these 2 wins, this is one of the stands you can hunt. And then everybody just has their own setup, which makes it super efficient because everybody has their own kit that they're used to. Or sometimes we will preset the tree with sticks, but there won't be anything up there. But then once you get up to that height, you're going to see where that marker is. And then you can just set your piece just above or just below that to then know, okay, this is where the shooting lanes are cut for this time of year.
Very smart. Very smart. Yeah, because that is always because if you climb up and you're too high, too low, your shooting lanes it's not going to help.
Yeah, because what we do one step further to that, so if there's a group of us going, like say for example, me, you, and a few other people from the Mobile Hunters Expo are coming up to my place to hunt. If you guys come up and scout in the spring or the summer, we're going to have the tallest person and the shortest person jump up on stand, and we're going to cut lanes for both heights, because then anybody that's been between that is going to have their shooting lanes cut. So even for me being left-handed and you being right-handed, we're going to have both people go up on the stand to be able to make sure that they have the lanes cut for both sides.
Very nice. That's very efficient, brother.
Yeah, well, the tough part for us is if we're going up on my land, it's 4.5 hours one way. And if I'm going up there, I want to get 3 days minimum up there, but I want to be in and out, because the sooner we get the stuff done, the sooner we're back at the cabin enjoying brats and beer and just hanging out.
Exactly. The whole
Well,
deer camp experience, brother.
Yep. To kind of just do a little wrap up on everything, we kind of did a brief overview on some of the products and how that would help people be more efficient with the rut, if that's gutting the deer, dragging the deer, hanging the deer. Is there any other products or anything else that you're working on or coming out with that they could get excited about for next year?
Oh, yeah, definitely. So for this year, I believe you've seen this at the Mobile Hunter Expo. This is my new attachment. It's a saw attachment. It hooks right on to your XL or SS. It's going to give you that extra. With the XL, it's going to give you an extra almost 4 feet of reach. With the SS, it's going to give you an extra 2.5, 3 feet of reach. That way you can get that limb that's out there just out of your reach. We're going to have a scabbard set up for this. You can use it as a regular handsaw as well. That way you don't have to worry about carrying extra weight in your pack. We also have for the saddle hunters, this is more a creature comfort thing, but hey, it is what it is. You want to be comfortable when you're out there and not rooching around. So we got a pad set up coming up for the SS. Just more comfort. That's all it is. That way you can just lean against it. If it's getting slow, you're in the middle of the day, nothing's going on. Like I'd take a nap, dude. Just you can lean on it. Just creature comfort stuff. We have one more thing that's coming out, and I'm going to be putting on the Facebook here pretty soon on all of my social media pages. We have a set of insulated chaps coming out, which is going to be perfect for saddle hunters, going to be perfect for fishermen, duck hunters, deer hunters, western hunters, everyone. What they are, they're going to be insulated chaps that's going to ride, just like I said, a chaps would, and connect to your belt. That way, if you're in the saddle, you don't have that extra bulk around your hips. And they're warm. They're super warm. So that's the two big things we got coming out here in the next year. Working on a camera mount for the XL. So, because when you're shooting with an XL, wherever you swing, it's moving with you. So we're coming out with a camera mount that'll attach right to it, and that way you don't have to worry about having a extra camera hanging off your tree, because wherever that rifle, crossbow, or whatever you're shooting is going to be pointing, the camera's going to be pointing there as well.
Smart. What are the best methods if anybody's looking to purchase or take a look at any of the products for like your Facebook, Instagram, or if you got a website?
Yeah. The best way to look at all my products is on YouTube. That way you can scroll down through. It's just Rackin Stick on YouTube. Instagram is Rackin LLC. Facebook is Rackin Stick. Just if you want to know about my products, go to the YouTube channel. My website is rackinstick.com. It's real easy. Punch into Google. She's going to pop right up for you. The website doesn't have a lot of videos on it, but the YouTube has everything on it. And that's what I suggest people to go to, because if you go to the Facebook, you got to run through all the different posts, and you might not find what you're looking for. But that way, if you go to the YouTube, go to the videos and the shorts, everything you need to know about the Rackin Stick, Rackin Sticks, Rackin XL, all the attachments, the SS, everything is right there.
Perfect. That sounds like a great way to wrap it up. I appreciate your time, Doug, and kind of taking some time out of your day to learn more about the products and how that can help people be more efficient during their rutcation.
Appreciate it, brother.
Sounds good, man. Good luck this year, and you're going to have to shoot some photos once you tag that big one.
Will do, bud. You too. Take care.
Thank you.
Thanks for tuning into this episode of Geared Up North. The adventure is far from over. If you're searching for more epic excursions, gear reviews, and insider insights, follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube at Geared Up North. Visit gearedupnorth.com for more information, and don't forget our latest episodes are available wherever you get your podcasts.